Yo, my name's Nick's Lotus. I actually think leprechauns are real and dwarves are the fake ones. You little, excuse me, didn't mean to get all out of sorts. Today we're gonna talk about 10 underplayed cards that need to go into more decks, and I got a lot to say about these bad boys, alright? Because these are some of the most unique niche cards I've ever found, and for a niche card hunting spelunker like me, it's like that meme where the guy's about to quit mining and he's about to break through. I kept going, and I found some gems. So if that sounds interesting, make sure to like, comment your favorite obscure card, and subscribe, and let's get into this. How do you like Hidden Retreat? For 2 and a white, we get an enchantment. Choose a card in your hand, put that card on top of your library, prevent all damage from an instant or sorcery. Nick, come on, buddy, I'm trying to make my gabagool over here, and you interrupted me with these cards that are useless. These aren't useless. If your deck is based around going off the top of your deck, this is incredibly good being able to set the top of your deck. I don't know, Amunatu Veil Piercer, where all your stuff you draw into that's enchantments has Miracle. Oh, I don't know, that one might be pretty good. Yannette, who looks at your top card and lets you cast it if it's an odd mana cost. I guess I could slap this 9-drop Eldrazi back on top of my deck, I guess. Also, Eat a Hog Blasphemous Act. This card's really funny, just particularly for that anyway. But setting the top of your deck, that's really what we're going for here. Ding! Do you need card draw? Does your card draw kind of suck? Do you like obscure cards? Oh, hold on. Are you also a combat-based deck? This seems pretty good, actually. Rowdy Research is 6 and a blue. It costs 1 less for each creature that attacked this turn, and you draw 3 cards. Yeah, that's right, and this isn't even a little overpowered adventure that just completely ignored the reserved list and reprinted Ancestral Recall. I don't know if that's real or not, but this thing could realistically be that if you're in the right game. And also, this is an instant speed, so if your opponent is in a token deck and they swing with more than 6 things, man, gee whiz. I hope my token deck swings with more than 6 things. It's a token deck. It's gonna. You will have a 1 blue draw 3 at instant speed. Pretty insane. If you didn't watch Sunday's video, I put this in my Anello the Painter all budget list. That's right, that entire deck runs nothing but budget cards. So after this video, go maybe check out that one. That might be interesting to you. That deck runs Rowdy Research, because in Anello, if I can get Rowdy Research off for 1 blue, I can casualty it and draw 6 cards for 1 blue. But also, if you're in like a spell slinger deck that is its main resource is like producing tokens, like if you're in like Ovika or something like that, I think Rowdy Research isn't that bad because you're gonna have a lot of tokens to attack with as well. This is also a 7-drop spell, even with the cost reduction. So in Ovika, yeah, 1 mana, draw 3, make 7 1/1s. It's not bad. Let me introduce you to Soul Evanation. Enervation. Shit, I messed it up. Soul Enervation is 3 and a black for an enchantment with flash. When it enters the battlefield, target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn. And whenever 1 or more creatures leave your graveyard, each opponent loses 1 and you gain 1. I'm not drinking too much, you're drinking too much. It's carbonated water. Calm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna swap out one of my pieces of removal into Vol for this, because removal also gets around indestructible. That's pretty cool. Flash speed, and then I just start pinging people for reanimating? Come on. If it just did the ping for reanimate, I could understand you guys being like, Nick, that's not what your deck's doing. You're not going for like a ping or aristocrat thing, but it's also just removal. It's just pretty decent removal that just also has that stapled onto it. So I'm gonna try it out, all right? I could see this in a cool like Oscar Rubbish Reclaimer deck where you're based around discarding creature cards to cast them out of your graveyard. And then when you cast them out of your graveyard, Soul Enervation triggers. Any deck where you can get like individual creatures being reanimated 1 at a time because it says 1 or more are really, really good. That's why Oscar seems like one of the better options for me. Or like Muldroth. No, Muldroth is once a turn. Oscar's pretty banging. Up next, we have a card. I say it all the time. I genuinely had to reread it multiple times because goddamn. Let's look at Gao, Feral Youth, being 1 and a red for a 2/2. Rage, whenever Gao attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. At the beginning of each end step, if a card left your graveyard this turn, Gao deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. Oh, do you know how fast I would run this into Vol if it was into Vol? Oh my god, it's so good. It's also just like absolutely insane, the nasty, diabolical stuff you can do with this card, okay? If you're in something like Cedrus the Traitor King Reanimator, and you can unearth something like Enduring Courage, let's say, and then you play Gao, Gao will enter with a +2/+0 and haste. You swing with Gao. At the end of turn, Gao will deal 4 damage to everybody since Enduring Courage left your graveyard. And that's not even considering spells that can double Gao's power. Like Bulk Up, if you could already get Gao to like a 4/4/5/5 and then bulk it up, bring it up to an 8/8 or a 10/10, plus it gets the 1/1 counter when it attacks. I didn't even consider that. You're doing like double-digit damage to each opponent. This is actually insane to me. Put this in more decks because this card, damn. Xenagos. I don't know how you're gonna have stuff leaving. I mean, like regrowth effects, eternal witness effects, honestly. You Xenaghost this thing into play and then eternal witness something back from your graveyard. I think Gao's gonna be hitting like a truck at everybody. That's not even to mention if you choose Gao as your commander, because you could run stuff like that little lizard that lets your commanders deal damage to each opponent when they deal damage. That seems gross. And then you just run all the buff cards. You run a Blackblade Reforged in there, and then Gao's just hitting like an absolute freight train. How do you get cards back from your graveyard in a mono red deck? Very good question. You'll have to answer that in the comments. Like flashback and stuff, I guess. Put this in Marchese of the Black Rose. All your stuff gets 1/1, has dethroned. When stuff dies with 1/1s, they come back. Stuff coming back from your graveyard. Gao's gonna love that. 1/1 counters. Gao's gonna love that. Kind of busted. Up next in 14.4k decks is Quirion Beastcaller. Being a 1 and a green 2/2, whenever you cast a creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Quirion Beastcaller. When Quirion Beastcaller dies, distribute X 1/1 counters among any number of target creatures you control, where X is the number of 1/1 counters that were on Quirion Beastcaller. Not a lot to say here. Your deck's doing 1/1 counter stuff. This is a really good target to put some of your 1/1 counters on, like Helena and Alayla. Is that their name? Halana and Alina. I knew I'd get there eventually. Just dishing out 1/1 counters on your combat, you could feel pretty good throwing most of your 1/1 counters on something like this in like Forgotten Ancient, and then being like, hey, I got 2 giant things here that I'm about to Rogue's Passage and just start beating your face in. But if you deal with them, I'm gonna redistribute their counters to everybody else. Forgotten Ancients ran a ton. I don't see why this one's not ran a ton. So there we go. That's my call to action. Run this one more. If not, run this one a ton. I didn't realize there was such a small subsect of you guys that really enjoyed rattlesnake cards. I made that rattlesnake video. A ton of you guys started commenting that I had never seen comment before. So for this list, I included Powerstone Minefield. For 2, a red and a white, we get an enchantment. Whenever a creature attacks or blocks, Powerstone Minefields does 2 damage to it. Attacks or blocks. Get ready for all your blocks to suck, all your attacks to run the risk of getting something sniped. Yeah, none of your small stuff's attacking. Anything with 2 or less toughness, that's not attacking. Sorry. Anything with like 3 or less toughness isn't blocking, because the extra block's gonna result in it dying. Under 3k decks, I don't understand. I feel like red white is a pretty common pillow fort color inclusion, so there you go. Run this. Oh, sorry. I just checked out EDH Rec to make sure there was nothing I was missing that was like really important. Wada is very cool with this card. A red, a green, white, 1/5 haste. Target creature you control fights another creature, whatever. If a creature you control being dealt damage causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that trigger triggers an additional time. So that deck's like an enrage deck. You run all the creatures that when they take damage, they give you a really good bonus triggered effect. So with Powerstone Minefield, you could force enrage triggers when you attack. That's actually really, really cool. Something of note. Actually, super sick. Well, this must be the list that is death by 1,000 cuts, because our next card is Pactdoll Terror. This 3 and a black 3/4 has, whenever this creature or another artifact you control enters, each opponent loses 1 and you gain 1. I don't understand anymore. This doesn't say non-token, so all your treasures, your clues, your food, your blood, all that are going to ping opponents. All your creatures that are artifacts are going to ping opponents. All your mana rocks are going to ping opponents. And you're gaining life the whole time. This card actually seems incredibly good. I don't even have that much to say for it. Like, if you're in any of the decks I just mentioned, run it. Like, if you're making a lot of clue tokens, a lot of treasure tokens, a lot of blood tokens, this is absolutely busted. If you're making a lot of artifact tokens in general, like if you're running like mere battle spheres and stuff like that, the freaking battle hamster card, you're making a lot of 2/2s. I don't know if the hamster one actually makes artifacts, but I know the mirror one does. You're in Brea. Brea is an artifact and then enters and makes more artifacts, and then you can blinker and just make more, and just like, this card's very good. It's one of those cards where I reread it and I'm like, 13k, huh? Well, I guess that's why it's on the video. Here it is. Up next, a card I literally have nothing to say about except reading it, because I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it goes in a deck. It just had a unique ability. Here you go. Here's Moonhold. For 2 and a hybrid Boros instant, target player can't play lands this turn if red was spent to cast this, and they can't play creature cards if white was spent to cast this. Do both if red white was spent. I don't know how good this is at all. Maybe if you're in the pillow fort deck, this isn't bad, because you could like stop someone from resetting after a board wipe, or if you're in a control deck, you could do that same thing. Again, I really don't know where this goes. There's that one deck. There's the one deck, General Ferris. Yeah, General Ferris, where like it would trigger General Ferris, but like, who really cares, I guess? Because like, I don't know how useful that ability is in a world with silences and like Oric's Chant and stuff like that. So not sure, don't think it's that great. Ran in 980 decks, thought I'd shout it out. There you go. This one I'm excited about. I actually think this next one, Maybe I'm wrong. I think it's pretty solid. Whipgrass Entangler is ran in 644 decks. For 2 and a white, we get a 1/3. With 1 and a white, until end of turn, target creature gains. This creature can't attack or block unless its controller pays 1 for each cleric in play. So for 1 and a white, you can put a little mini ghostly prison on a creature. I like this. Like even if you run like a few clerics, this thing becomes way better. But even just by itself, 1 and a white to give like a little pay 1 ghostly prison effect to a creature. I think this is pretty rattlesnakey because people aren't going to even consider swinging at you because they'll be like, if I do consider swinging at him, he's just going to pay that thing and make me pay 1. And then you'll be the guy that's like, hey, where are you swinging this turn? Because that's going to dictate where my Whipgrass is getting targeted here. You could also use it politically. If someone's tapped out, you could be like, hey, I can literally make it so none of their creatures can block with Whipgrass, and you can get right through. Run it in a pillow fort deck. Run it in a rattlesnake deck. This seems incredibly good. It's also a 1/3, so it's a pretty good blocker as well. Again, if you can get any kind of clerics into play, or if your commander is a cleric, this thing becomes way better because then it's 1 and a white, target someone with a ghostly prison effect. And you might say, why not just run ghostly prison? You are running ghostly prison, and you're running propaganda, and you're running Cascoon Falls, and you're running Nil's Disciple, and you're running all of them. Definitely a favorite card on the list. I think this thing's fantastic. Another card on the list, I think they're all good, but another card that I think is fantastic on this list is Treacherous Greed, being ran in 10k decks. This one, a black and a white instant, has as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature that dealt damage this turn, draw 3 cards, each opponent loses 3, and you gain 3. A 3 mana draw 3 for just connecting and sacking something. What kind of deck would like that? If you answered my Arna deck, you're dead right. In Arna, this seems really good. It's a token deck, so I'm going to connect with the token all the time. And then just sacking that token to get a 3 mana, draw 3, everyone drains 3, I gain 3. Whew, I think I will. I think I very much will. And then for you Spellslinger players out there, we've got Vadrik, Astral, Archmage, which as a card is ran in 5,000 decks, which blows me away because his ability is incredibly powerful. 1 a blue and a red, 1/2. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day when he enters. Whatever, you're gonna have to keep track of day, night. That's a pain. Move past it. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost X less to cast, where X is Vadrik's power. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, put a 1/1 counter on Vadrik's. So he enters with a 1/1. So he'll automatically be a 2/3 that makes all your instants and sorceries cost 2 less. A 3-drop that makes all your instants and sorceries cost 2 less. Yeah, I don't think that's probably good enough to run in my Spellslinger deck, especially if that Spellslinger deck runs any kind of buff spells. Because if I can give this thing +3/+3 with like a 1 mana instant, all of a sudden I can play all my instants and sorceries for like free almost. The fact that he enters as a 2/3 and then immediately just makes all your instants and sorceries cost 2 less for 3 mana, y'all are ridiculous for not running this just because of the day-night thing, all right? Actually ridiculous, because I'm going to be picking one of these up. I want to make a Spellslinger deck now just so I could run Vadrik, because boy, I love cost reduction, and 3 mana for a 2 cost reduction, that's a good going rate. That's nice. And so are you guys for stopping in and watching the video. I hope you didn't know about any of these cards, but I doubt that's the fact, okay? So if 1 or 2 of these cards went under your radar, that's enough from me. Let me know down below what cards you'd never heard of before from this list. If you want to show some additional support, you could like, comment, subscribe, head over to the nixlotus.com website and check out all the stuff we got going on over there. We got merch, we got viewer-submitted decks, we've got a Scryfall search tool. Go try that stuff out. And if you want to show some additional support, you could head over to the Patreon page or the YouTube members page to become a member of either or both for as low as $1 a month, where you can gain access to the deck submission form and submit your decks for Friday night deck reviews, if that sounds interesting to Friday night deck reviews. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you haven't watched Sunday's video, go check that out. That is a doozy. It's a Nello the Painter. I ran it using nothing but obscure cards, so I thought that was very, very cool. Anyway, I'll get out of your guys' hair. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.